grew up in rural Georgia when segregation and racism were unchallenged realities of daily life. He went on to attend Crozier Theological Seminary, where his predominantly white senior class elected him class president. He earned his PhD from Boston University at the age of 25 and became a pastor in Montgomery, Alabama. In 1955, Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery. The NAACP selected King to lead a peaceful boycott. In 1956, the Supreme Court ruled that segregated seating on public buses was unconstitutional, and King entered the national spotlight as an inspirational leader of nonviolent resistance. Over the course of the next several years, King led peaceful demonstrations and sit-ins to protest the rampant discrimination that was the norm at the time. He conferred with many political and religious leaders around the country and around the world. In 1963, King delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech at a march on Washington. His tireless work and eloquence created a national conversation and had a strong effect on public opinion, helping to pass the Civil Rights Act of 1964. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. King had a passionate devotion to the people he served. He walked arm in arm with them through their struggles, was arrested alongside those who demonstrated, and identified himself with them at all times. He was revered as a visionary spokesperson. But his greatness as a leader was due to his unwavering dedication to his work, as well as his ability to collaborate with others to bring about needed change. Martin Luther King Jr. is often cited as one of the strongest leaders of the 20th century.
And now, please turn it up for Supply Chain Senior Director, Dominican Republic, Andy Thompson, Senior Director Operations, Magog, Julian Bouchard, and Senior Director of Operations from Poznan, Bart Tornazewski.
Dzień dobry, Ari. Okay, let's start again. Dzień dobry, it's a good morning in Polish. So let's start again. Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
We have a very short presentation for you about supply chain. Has to be short because I need to go back to Poznań and produce some frames, I guess. But before we start, I would like to say two things. The song you just heard, it's our promise from supply chain to you. Wherever you have a possibility to have a bad thought about supply chain, please remember that we're never going to give you up, we're never going to let you down, we're never going to make you cry. Starting Monday. And second thing, we would like to thank you for having us here. Thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for the positive energy. For a moment, we haven't thought that we don't belong here, so thank you very much. We would like to show you who we are, where we are, because there was a lot of questions, where we have our facilities. We have 5 manufacturing sites, starting from the north, Magog in Canada, where we produce ceiling lifts, hoists, and we support rotochrome. Moving south to sunny Dominican Republic, where we produce flights, slings, and soon DVT. Moving across the ocean, there's a facility in Cardiff, in UK, where we produce our diagnostic equipment. Moving a little east, we have a facility in Poznan, where we produce DVT, beds, hoists, trolleys, flushers, and bathtubs with cooperation with our supplier. And moving far east, we have a facility in Suzhou in China, where we produce mattresses, pumps, and also DVD for the local market. We do also have 3 warehouses where we support spare parts and finished goods. 2 of them are in North America, in Mississauga and Roselle, and 1 in Netherlands. So what do we do? Besides manufacturing, or before we start manufacturing, we need to get all of those parts. We collaborate with close to 900 suppliers, and we spent over $140 million US dollars last year to get those parts for the products. We manufacture in different time zones, so almost 24/7. We spent last year 1.7 million working hours. Currently, as we speak, there is a production running in Magog, and in a couple hours we just finished Saturday production in Poland. We also manage the logistics and distribute products from our warehouses. We manage the rental depots. We develop and launch new products with our R&D team. We fix quality issues that sometimes pops up. We keep products up to date. We work on reducing the costs with keeping and increasing the quality. And we also manage distribution from third-party suppliers. In total, there's over 2,200 people working to make every deal possible.
Okay, thank you, Bartek. Good morning. So as Bartek said, we don't have too much time to share too much detail about all of the different sites. So I will just show 2018 in review and 2019 goals just for one of our factories, the one that I look after in the Dominican Republic. But from that you can get an idea of how we try to drive all of the different factories that we have in the group. So for the Dominican Republic, this is what 2018 looked like in review. We increased the factory volume by about 8%. Now we're 650 approximately people working for us down in the Dominican Republic. We increased the factory efficiency, reduced material costs, delivery accuracy, which is very important for us. We increased it from 94 to 97% within a year. We reduced transport costs, and then additionally in 2018 we made a significant investment, 1.8 million or so dollars, in additional capacity for flights manufacture and also to set up for additional capacity for DVT garments. So that was a large project for us, and it's part of us trying to make sure we continue to invest so we have the right amount of capacity and we're able to react flexibly and quickly when we get changes in demand. So that was 2018 in the Dominican Republic. And if we move forward to 2019, this is what turning it up looks like for us down there. It's mostly the same headings. So again, we need to reduce material costs. We need to again increase factory efficiency. We expect the factory volume will increase by 20%, both from top line growth, but also from insourcing other textile products that currently we make in suppliers around the world. And then another significant part of our improvement plans in 2019 is to continue to try to optimize the whole supply chain. So everything from how we manufacture the flights through how they get shipped and distributed is an important part of our focus for this year. And we will do some different things, but two of the main ones we will do is that we will create an additional stocking location in Miami where we will hold flights. So not only in Roselle, in the warehouse there, but additionally we will set up another smaller scale warehouse in Miami. At the moment every week we send a container from the Dominican Republic with flights. We send that container on a boat through Miami, actually, and then we load up the container onto trucks and we drive it up to Roselle. And then it sits on a shelf in Roselle for a couple of weeks, and then about 40% of that total volume for flights we put back in the truck and we take it back down to the Florida area to distribute to customers there. So in this year we will change that and we will ship directly to the location in Miami, and that allows us to be faster, reduces the lead time, but also will reduce some transportation costs also. And then we will do something similar by setting up a location in the UK for exactly the same purpose. At the moment we send everything to Eindhoven in the Netherlands, we unload it, we put it away on shelves, and then a couple of weeks later we take about 70% of that total volume and we put it back on trucks and we take it over to the UK for customers. So that's a couple of examples of what we will try to do this year to improve that total supply chain and make us faster and more quickly able to respond. And then if I just move on a little bit to speak something about back orders. So we know how painful it is when we get back orders, and we understand the efforts that all of you have to go to when there are back orders to manage the customer, to try to repair the damage that's done with that, and all of the energy that gets sucked out of the organization when we're trying to recover from back order situations. So we do know that. It's a very important focus for us to drive those things out. And if I just speak for the products that we make in the DR factory, there's 56 different items. Every month in North America, we sell individual pieces about this quantity, so like 30,000 or so individual pieces of those different 56 products in North America each month. We have back orders. If we look at a snapshot for the end of each of those months, there were, for example, in September, 300 individual pieces that were not shipped. They were on back order, and we understand very well how difficult it is to manage the situation that comes from having those back orders. So how do we improve? And really there are always about four main opportunity areas where you need to try to drive if you're going to improve the back order situation. We need to work in things that increases forecast accuracy, or we need to reduce lead times, or we can increase stock, or we could reduce the portfolio. These are the things that help to drive out back orders. We don't want to do this, and we don't want to do this either. So we need to work within these two areas. So on the forecast accuracy, we're trying to put more energy and more focus into the SOP process. So that's where we can collect the information that you prepare about the coming forecasts and use that information to prepare the manufacturing in good time. And we need to reduce lead time. And the Miami stocking location is one example of how we can try to do that. So we're not perfect. We know we need to improve. It's a very significant area of focus for us. And in brief, that's a couple of examples of what we're trying to do in 2019 to try to get rid of, or at least improve on, these backorder situations that we get. And then I'll hand over to Julian, who's going to explain a couple of different areas within the supply chain.
Thank you, Andy. So obviously manufacturing is an important part of supply chain, but the other area of supply chain that are here to support you. And one important place is product improvement. Our technical team in supply chain, they are responsible to look at the product, how the product goes in the market, what are the problems, and to decide if we need or not to start project to fix issue. So how are we doing that? First, we're looking at different sources of data. For example, we have TrackWise or complete handling system where we look at the trend. Do we see something coming out of ordinary, a part that starts to be replaced much more often? We also use data like your direct input, because we understand that sometimes an issue might not be high in number, but could have a big impact on the customer relationship. So we're looking at all those, and then we decide to start project, we do investigation, we find the root cause of the problem, and we implement solution. Looking in 2018, we fixed 15 major issues. One example I can take in the US is we had the VA hospital that was not happy with how our MaxiSky 1000 was working. So we developed a solution for the VA specifically, and we installed this year. So that's an example of thing that supply chain is doing to get our product better, so you get the customer happy. Since 2 years, product development is under the same management than supply chain. So we're working in close collaboration with the over 100 people in product development, and their job is really to get new product or significantly enhance the actual product. And we know that's a really important thing for you to be able to meet customer with new product and also to meet new demand and new need that the customer might have. So how R&D is working, it's really a close work between marketing, sales, product development and supply chain up to the start where we develop the idea up to the point where we launch a product in production. And looking in 2018, we have at least 10 different launches or significantly improved product. And just for example, we have the Sarah Condoleezza new armrest. We launched the Indigo, which is a power drive system for our bed frame. And we also have done for the US the validation of the Maxi Twin Compact as a car extraction system. And keep in mind, R&D is really a pipeline. So you have projects at different stages going, and the goal is really to keep the steady flow of new projects and new product every year. So you have something new in the portfolio. And looking at 2019, we also have different projects. Those are the ones that are scheduled to be released this year. So for example, we will have the Maxi Skype infection control. We will have the new electronic for the rototone to be sure we can continue to support that business. And we will also have a new white boosting for our Sarah lifter. So a lot of projects, and that's an important focus in supply chain and product development. So far we did, like I said, a quick presentation of what supply chain is doing for you, and we wanted to end that presentation by showing a bit what you can do to help us better serve you. The first point, and I think is probably the most important, is keep us informed. And when you have big tender, when you launch a new marketing campaign, when you have something that might change drastically how a product is consumed or what type of SKU is used, the sooner you involve us, the better we can serve. We can order more raw material in advance, we can build some product in advance. So please keep us in the loop, and we just have the perfect example of that huge bed opportunity. There was a close collaboration between Nassm and the US since the start of the project to be sure that incredible demand can be met. And also that it's valuable also if you have specific customer that have some issue, feel free to contact. We have technical team that can support you. I've been personally sitting in front of a high-active customer in the US with some member of the US team. So we understand that, and we're here to help you. The other one, give us the best possible forecast. And I know forecasting is not easy. It's not always easy to know what the customer will order, when they will order it. But for us, forecasting is what we use to know how much labor we need, how much raw material we need. So it's really important for us so we can plan correctly and be sure that when you need the product, we can produce it and deliver it in time. Use TrackWise. It's an incredible source of data. TrackWise is a complaint handling system, and it's maybe more toward the service organization, but it's so useful for us. We look at the comment you put there. We look at the picture you put. We cannot be in the field every day, so that's really the tool we use to understand how our products are going in the field. So continue to use it. It's really important for us. And I would say the last thing you can do to help us is that you're more welcome to sell more, so we can produce more for you. It was a 15-minute overview of supply chain, so our goal today was to show you what those 2,200 people are doing in the back to support you and your customer. Thank you.